I'm Beatriz Gonçalves. I am an urban planner at Cordial Institute. And today I'm going to present you a little bit of how we use geospatial street data to support effective urban mobility policies. We developed a methodology for road safety analysis in Brazilian cities. But first, I'm going to present a little bit about Cordial Institute. We are an independent research and articulation center, like a think and do tank, dedicated to implement the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, or the global goals. We have clients and partners from the public to the private sectors. We have a technical cooperation agreement with 4 capital cities, São Paulo, Belo Horizonte, Rio de Janeiro, and Fortaleza. But we are also expanding a network of cities, trying to cover the 155 largest cities in Brazil, the ones with over 200,000 inhabitants. Here are some of our clients: Vital Strategies, Uber, Bloomberg Philanthropies, and other ones in Brazil. We work with data science and applied research, intersectoral articulation, and territorial intelligence to develop directed actions initiatives. Today we have 2 initiatives, one that works with obesity, and the mobility one that I work with. And we also develop specific projects and consultancy to companies, CSOs, or government to base their actions and decisions always on data and evidence. Some of our capabilities, we work with big data, data analytics, ecosystem monitoring, stakeholders, the main topics of both initiatives, geoprocessing, territorial intelligence, data visualization, applied research, and we also have events and trainings and intersectional articulation, where our main goal is the research and the articulation fronts. This year, we one of the think tanks with a policy brief approved in T20 from G20 that happened this year in Brazil. T20 is a forum for think tanks and research centers to contribute with policy recommendations for important global issues. Our policy brief was about building an international information architecture, leveraging data for sustainable development, so it was really nice to be there. And our mobility initiative is called Painel Brasileiro da Mobilidade, or the Brazilian Mobility Panel, the PBM. PBM is a national initiative that aims to contribute to the development of a more sustainable and safe mobility in Brazil. With PBM, we contribute directly to 5 of the global goals, and our strategic partners are World Resource Institute, but Brazil, Vital Strategies, and Frente Nacional de Prefeitas e Prefeitos. Thanks to PBM's work, we were nominated one of the 100 most influential companies in urban mobility this year by Mobilidade Estadão. That is a news company important in São Paulo mainly. And this year we also received the Programa Bicicleta Brasil, Bicycle Brazil program, something like that. With the project Atrai Bikes, More Data for Better Cycling Infrastructure. We presented here in FOSS4G on Wednesday. I don't know if anybody had the chance to watch it as well. But with this badge, we were recognized as an initiative that encouraged more favorable environments for bicycle mobility. Our sponsors are Itaú and Uber. And since we're talking about mobility, it's very important to say that PBM is aligned to the principles of the same system approach. So we understand that no death or severe injury in traffic is acceptable, that humans make mistakes, humans are vulnerable to injuries, and so to create and to build the safe systems in our city, mainly to mobility, is important to understand that the responsibility must be shared by all stakeholders, actors involved in this mobility management. And also that safe is proactive, so we need always to act to prevent crashes, not to try to act after it happens. So there are a lot of areas of action for safe system approach, like urban planning, education, safer vehicles, and others. So I think that's it. I talked a lot about mobility, urban mobility, and mainly road safety. But why do we need to talk about road safety? Why do we have a whole initiative for road safety? Because 1.9 million lives are lost every year in traffic in the world. That means that every 23 seconds, more or less, a person loses their life in traffic, because road crashes are the main cause of death among people between the ages of 5 to 29. And near half of the victims are pedestrians, cyclists, and motorcyclists. The users we call the vulnerable ones. So it's very important. We see it's a long-standing challenge globally, but also in Brazil. Brazil last year reached the third consecutive year in the increase of the number of road deaths, achieving almost 34,000 deaths in a year, according to DataSUS database. Our national health base. And if we continue like that, we will never reach the goal of trying to reduce for 50% the number of road deaths. This goal was proclaimed by UN's Decade of Action for Road Safety. We had, I don't know, you can see that it's too much light here, but we had a first decade as well, but we couldn't reach. A lot of countries actually couldn't reach this goal. And so UN's created the second decade, but we are still have a long way to go to try to reach this 50% of reduction of road deaths. And when we talk about mobility in Brazil, we also have specific challenges, such as strong car prioritization, also a huge increase of motorcycle participation in traffic and mainly in crashes. Today in Brazil, motorcyclists are the main victims of road deaths. They have surpassed pedestrians that historically always have took this first place. So here, Brazil is really a really challenge for our cities. I don't know if you had the chance to walk here to Belém, but you see lots of motorcyclists driving around. We also have a deficiency of post-crash support, a decrease of public transportation, budget restrictions. I think this is worldwide, but in Brazil we also face it as well, and a lack of access and processing of qualified data. And since we're talking here about data, when we talk about this lack of access, we mean like the difficulty of integrating data from diverse areas, mainly health, policy, and the traffic management itself. We have a lot of information of road safety, but they are all divided by these three departments in cities. We have the municipalities also faces a lack of collection of trustworthy data. So it doesn't matter if you have a lot of data, if you can trust on it. And finally, a lack of technical team, infrastructure, and resources to analyze this data. So that's here where we realize it. Municipalities face a really challenge because sometimes they have a good database about road crashes, but they don't know exactly how to analyze it and how to support public policies based on these databases. And of course, we talk about tabular data. Tabular data is very important, but when we talk about cities, it's very important as well to have geospatial data, because cities have a lot of context, urban context information that needs to be included on this analysis and in this elaboration of public policies. So we need to look to the territory, and when we say territory, it's important to understand how do we interpret the territories from the road safety view. And well, the territory has a lot of elements that combine it to the road system. Here I put some, like crosswalks, sidewalks, the central divider, the lane. But when we talk about road safety, it's very important to look to intersections. These intersections here. Road intersections in cities and areas, there are many interactions between a lot of users. And sometimes these interactions lead to conflict situations, and these situations can result in road crashes or road deaths. So that's why it's really important for us to look to intersection when you are analyzing road safety. But when we were elaborating São Paulo's a territorial analysis for São Paulo road safety plan, we saw that actually the road crashes weren't exactly occurring in the middle of the intersection. So they weren't actually occurring just here, but in an area of influence of this intersection that has this similar behavior when you are in an intersection, so when you're driving or crossing in an intersection. So that's why we created, we make it bigger, we make this area bigger, so we included an area of influence of the intersection to try to understand more what was happening in this border of the intersection as well. And I think this is shows a little bit better what I'm trying to say here. So this is the first intersection we draw. And this is the one, the bigger one with a 10 meters buffer that we made from this first area. And so now we could actually realize that in São Paulo, 44% of road crashes occur at the intersection, even though these spaces represent only 36% of the road space. So then we could actually realize how critical were these areas, mainly São Paulo, but also in other cities. So this kind of layers, this division we have to analyze road safety, we call estruturais, that we don't have a translation for it, but in English must be something like structural, something like that. I put the name in Portuguese, but just to clarify, this was the first intersection that we draw, that we call cruzamento, something like crossing, and the other word is interseção. And what is not an intersection is what we call mid-blocks, meio de quadra. So we can, with this, we can analyze a lot of, it was a huge step for us to improve our road safety analysis. So how do we process these estruturais? How we do this? So for us, it's really important to find out where are these points of intersection, where the roads meet. So here are some points. And usually municipalities, they have available a road layer, more or less road layer. And that we could use to find these points, but sometimes we face some mistakes, like here you can show the road layer is not actually aligned to the street. Here we are missing a line, so we were supposed to lose these 2 points, these 2 intersections as well. Here, I don't know what happened, they just created a new road. And sometimes we face layers even worse, like this one. This is in Rio. They just draw like a line. They didn't consider the shape or anything of the streets. And so there was a challenge for us, so that's why we decided to use another base layer, that is the city blocks or mid-blocks layer, these polygons here. And it's important that this layer has this central divider here. This is the street, but has this central divider here, because the interactions users have in this lane is totally apart from this lane. So that's why it's important to have the central divider. And usually cities has this type of layer because they do it like a photo fly. They take a flight, take a picture, and then can draw on the picture and then just transform it to a shapefile. So it's kind of easy to have these layers, and municipalities usually have it because they used to housing related stuff, and it is pretty much accurate because you are drawing on it. So I think the error, more or less, it's like 10 centimeters, something like that, is really accurate for us. And by the mid blocks, we can draw the center line that is like a road axis. Ooh, just a little bit of water. It's hard to talk in English. All this process is done in PostGIS by PostgreSQL, and just a little resume of how we draw these lines. we draw a lot of perpendicular lines to the roadblock faces, to the polygons. Here the mid blocks. And all these lines that are drawn, they meet at an equivalent geometric distance point. All these points are 1 meter apart, distance apart, to improve the accuracy of the shape of the center line. And when these points are connected, they draw this road axis, this center line that we call. And with the center line draw, it's easier for us to find where are these points. It's kind of easy to do this with QGIS. QGIS have nature tools for this. And so it's points that is very accurate, so we really find out where are the intersections. And from these points, we create buffers, and these buffers, when dissolved, they draw this area of intersection. And it's good to dissolve these buffers, because then the shape of the intersection follows the morphology of the intersection in real life. So for us, it's very important to understand that this is a really complex intersection. It's different than this one, that is a simple intersection. And this is easily done in QGIS. Also in PostGIS, I'm more familiar with the QGIS program. But in PostGIS as well, it can be done easily. And when we have the intersection areas drawn, we can crop the intersection areas to the center line, and we have the mid blocks here in blue. So you can see they are geometrically opposites. So what is not in an intersection is what we call a mid block. So, okay, very nice, but what we do with this, why this is important, and why I say it's a really powerful tool for road safety analysis. So here is the layer of São Paulo, is an example of São Paulo. Here are our structural layers. And since we're talking about road safety, I'm gonna add road crash layer. So here we have a road crash layer, and now for us it's easier to understand if a road crash occurred in an intersection or if a road crash occurred in a mid-block. This is already a good insight for municipalities. It's good to understand how the road crashes are located in the city, but we want to know more. We can know more. For example, this intersection, we can see if it has a traffic light. And if it has a traffic light, we can know this road crash here occurred in an intersection with a traffic light. And it's good always to add information, because, for example, road crashes occur in this type of intersection is different than the one that occurred here, for example, that doesn't have a traffic light. And then we can combine a lot of urban layers information. We can combine with bike infrastructure, with bus lane, traffic radar system, road hierarchy, and so on. It's good to say that the more information the municipality has, the more knowledge we'll have about the territory, and more knowledge we'll have about the road safety scenario of the city. So we always want the cities to develop and to build more and more open data for them to also help their analysis. And this methodology we have already applied in our 4 partner cities. But since we are expanding our PBM's network, city network, this is an easy methodology to replicate, because we, as I said, we just use a common layer that municipalities usually have. So this is a practical use that we have for the estruturais, for structural layer. This is I don't think it's the first, I think it's the second most critical intersection in São Paulo. This was an analysis that we done in 2018, I think. But then we have like a severity ponderation that in Portuguese we call unidade padrão de severidade. I really don't know how to translate this in English. I swear I researched it a lot. But it's like a severity ponderation, so for us we have higher values for road crashes with fatal victims and lower values for road crashes with just injured victims. And then we can rank these intersections by its severity, and it's good to the municipality to understand where to prioritize when doing interventions. So when creating public policies and stuff. So this was the second most critical. And another use that we have for structurals is to identify comparison groups to create analysis of effectiveness. So with the lots of layers information that we can aggregate in the structural layers, we can match similar areas and compare them before receiving an intervention and after receiving an intervention. So, for example, here it was a study case we also did for São Paulo, and here was important for us lots of criteria to find these areas, and after one of these areas receive an intervention and the other not, we could compare how both areas behave. And so, how was the effectiveness of this intervention in this case for reducing road crashes? This intervention was called Frente Segura, as I talked about motorcyclists. Frente Segura was an intervention that São Paulo made to create waiting areas in the intersections with traffic lights to try to avoid conflicts when the traffic light goes green. So we know motorcycles, cars, everyone wants to go and just go fast. And this was an attempt of São Paulo municipality to try to reduce this type of conflict. And this working paper actually showed that this Frente Segura intervention resulted in a reduction of 20% of severe injuries, and the benefits of this intervention were 25 times higher than its cost. So it was a good result, and we are always very happy when we have good results, because that means we are saving lives. And this was good. It was very useful also for São Paulo municipality, but because they could expand this program to more 300 Frente Seguras for 300 intersections to implement this intervention in these intersections. This is the, how can I translate? This is like a goals plan that São Paulo has, plano de metas, that São Paulo gather a lot of goals they want to achieve after 4 years of management, for example. And here are some of other studies we have produced. Here are examples for São Paulo, Belo Horizonte, but we have also studies for Fortaleza and Rio de Janeiro as well. These studies are all analysis of effectiveness, but if you want to know a little bit more about other studies we have, you can access this QR code, but they are all available in our website. And I think this is it. Well, thank you for your attention. Sorry about my English, and I hope you like it.